Hi Panthers. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a exercise that's very similar to what we did yesterday. We're still practicing our skills in shading and creating value, only this time we're going to be using color. So yesterday we created a value scale using black or using pencil. Today I want you guys to try it using color. So in color pencil, you guys can really choose any color you'd like to choose. I would say let's try to not use yellow if you can avoid it. Yellow, you're not really going to see that same big jump in color intensity or lightness and darkness or value. It's harder to see with a color that is a little weaker like yellow. But anything else should work. So your reds, your blues, your purples, your greens, whatever makes you happy. And you don't have to do the same color. As you guys can see, I switched. So just like yesterday, I'm going to have you guys create a format where we practice going from light, a little bit darker, medium, medium dark, and then dark. Same technique. It's still just gradually adding more pressure to the paper. Down here, we're going to see if we can do a smooth transition from a dark or high intensity green to super light. Only difference is with color pencil, it's very hard to smear it with your finger or with paper towel like we did with pencil. So you really do need to pay attention to the pressure you apply to your paper when doing this part. All right, let me walk you guys through it. I'm fairly certain you probably understand exactly what to do, but let me show you exactly what to do one more time. All right, so here we go. We're going to get a fresh piece of paper. You guys can use a ruler and be fancy schmancy if you'd like to, or you can keep it rather simple, but we need to do some rectangles. I'm going to start out by doing something like this. If you have a ruler, remember you guys always can use a ruler. I'm going to keep mine just about as free-handed as possible. I'm not exactly looking at whether or not you can draw a beautiful rectangle. I'm looking to see if you guys can shade and practice your value skills. So we want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So that means you draw 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Down here, no lines. We want it to be nice and smooth. I'm going to do a light, medium, dark, just so I know what I'm doing. Okay, so set your paper up like so. I'm going to start up here. Now, you guys can use any color you like. Like I had mentioned earlier, I would avoid using yellow, but if you need to, it'll still work. It just won't be as dramatic. All right, so over here, just like what we did with our black color pencil, I'm going to barely scrape my color pencil across the paper, very lightly. You want to make sure that your square is nice and uniform, meaning it looks the same all over that square. For my next one, I'm going to push down a little bit harder on my paper, a little bit more pressure to my paper. You want to make sure that you aren't making it so dark right away. You want it to be gradual and go step by step. All right, try to stay inside the lines if you can. We should still practice our control and our fine motor skills, even though the big objective today is seeing if we can create value with a colored pencil. All right, medium. So now I'm going to start applying even more pressure, even more layers. Again, you don't want it to look exactly the same as the neighboring square. You want it to get a little bit more red. All right, and then my final one, I'm going to be pressing down extra hard, leaving no white paper exposed. I want that whole square to be completely covered in color pencil. And once again, students, if you guys don't have color pencil, just like yesterday, crayons would totally work for this as well. All right, we're looking good. So down here, we are going to be doing a very similar thing from light to dark, but it's going to be smooth. You guys can see there's no squares there. Once again, you also can change your color if you want to. So I'm going to just for a little change, I'm going to use this purpley color. Same thing over here. I'm barely scraping across this paper, very lightly. I can always go back and add more. I can't erase color pencils, so I want to stay away from this area for a while. In the middle, I want to kind of match the same pressure I put up here. And if you see this area and you want it to be a little smoother, you can kind of go back and add to it. All right, you want a nice smooth transition. You don't want to see big hops, big changes at a line. You want it to be gradual. So if you need to go and feather this line a little bit like I did, that's totally fine. Working my way down to the other end, I'm going to press down a little bit harder on my paper. And again, if you don't want to see this sort of strange transition section here, you can kind of feather it by, feathering it means like blur this line a little bit by going and layering more and scratching the paper with your color pencil like that. And then over here, I'm going to press down extra hard. You really don't want to see any of that white paper. You want it to be completely saturated with color from your color pencil. And then feather that edge there. All right, kiddos. So this is what we're working on today. If you're looking at this and you're like, oh, that's nice. Maybe I want to try layering different colors on top. Maybe find a color that's in the same family. So I have this beautiful purple, but I want to add some blue. You could try doing the scale on top of a scale if you'd like to. Blending colors looks really cool, and I'm always telling you guys to do that. Same thing. You don't have to do this, but if you feel like, oh, I want to practice being a little bit more advanced here, you can. Or you can make a whole other rectangle and try a different color or two colors. Maybe you want to have blue blend into yellow. Same idea. You're still just messing with how much pressure you're going to add to your paper. I'm just going to let the weight of the pencil kind of scratch the surface. Go back and add a little bit more over here. That looks cool. All right, so again, kiddos, this is if you want to do another rectangle and try doing like yellows into greens or blues into reds, you can. It's the same idea. You just want to make sure wherever you have these big jumps in color, you want to feather that edge by taking your color pencil and just kind of scraping over the surface till it looks even. All right, kids, good luck. Post it on Seesaw. I'll give you as much feedback as I can or as you need. I look forward to seeing your work.